bonjour, namaste, sat shri akal, salam. हाय फ्रेंड्स, वेलकम बैक टू माय चैनल रमनदीप सिंह जर्मनी। और आज की सीरीज के अंदर जो है हम एक फ्रेंच लैंग्वेज एक्सपर्ट भावना क्वात्रा उनसे बात करेंगे कि उनकी जर्नी क्या है, उन्होंने फ्रेंच लैंग्वेज कैसे सीखी। और दो तीन इंटरेस्टिंग फैक्ट बता दूं मैं पहले ही, वो मेरे साथ में, ये आप भी देख सकते हैं क्योंकि ये जूम वीडियो हो रही है तो इसलिए। हाय हाय भावना। सो
Hello.
इंटरेस्टिंग फैक्ट इज शी इज एन एक्स लॉयर। और जब ये लॉ करने के बाद इन्होंने फ्रेंच लैंग्वेज करी, और मैं भी बड़ा इंटरेस्टिंग हूँ, मैं भी बड़ा ज्यादा इसके बारे में एक्साइटेड हूँ जानने के लिए कि एक्स लॉयर से आप कैसे फ्रेंच लैंग्वेज एक्सपर्ट बने। एंड उसके बाद शी ऑल्सो वेंट टू फ्रांस टू टीच इंग्लिश, और वहां पर दोनों लैंग्वेज चाहिए होती हैं, इंग्लिश एज वेल एज फ्रेंच, क्योंकि आप वहां पे लोगों को या बच्चों को या फिर जिनको भी आप पढ़ाने जा रहे हो इंग्लिश में, उनको फ्रेंच समझ आती है। राइट, सो दो तीन ये, और आई डोंट फॉरगेट इट, she's also a YouTuber. She also
Mhm.
make videos about French language and vlogging as well. So before dealing it, like, let's get started and help me welcoming Bhavna Kwatra. Thanks a lot, Bhavna, first of all, to come here and to give your time and share your experience.
Thank you so much for having me. That was an amazing intro. You start your videos with a bang, I have
Yeah,
to say.
thanks a lot. Yeah, so Bhavna, let's talk about your journey. Like, why don't you introduce yourself first?
Okay, so hello people. I also start my videos with hola amigos normally, but we can combine all the salutations, hola, bonjour, namaste, sat shri akal, that Ramandeep also started with. So my name is Bhavna, as you all already know by now, and I'm a French language enthusiast because I'm also learning and training people for French, and now also trying to help with their dream of going to France, like as a language assistant. And apart from that, I'm also a YouTuber, an ex-lawyer, and how I got to this French thing, because I started off being a lawyer. So we'll get to that. But yeah, this is like all of me. Maybe I'm missing a few things because I'm like, there's so much to tell you guys, but we'll get to each point one by one. And yeah,
Right.
that's about it.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Like, जैसे जैसे हम आगे बात करते जाएंगे, then like you will get, okay, ये भी थिंग थी जो मैं बता सकती हूँ, ये मैं बता सकता हूँ, right?
Okay,
Yeah.
that
So,
will come.
right. It's so great, like it's so inspiring that you were an ex-lawyer and now you are an language enthusiast, French language enthusiast, and you are teaching, like also, and helping students. I would say supporting students, like to realize their dream. That's so
Yes.
inspiring. So, but my question is, what inspired you? What motivated you to learn French? Like you were you were a lawyer.
Yes, I was. I mean, I am graduated as a lawyer, so I still have that degree.
Mm-hmm.
So this journey started back when, if you go further back, I went to Amritsar with my parents. That was like a yearly thing that we used to do. So there we saw a Babaji, because in Gurdwara we have Babaji, and I don't remember. I think I was a teenager and I was playing around with kids, and then I saw Babaji coming over, and we had never seen that Babaji ever in that Gurdwara, because that was the Sarovar area we were playing at. And then he came over and then he said, "Eh, tuadi kudi hai?" We will translate this with the subtitles in English. And my father came over and then he said, "Twadi kudi vakil banegi." Chalo bhai, I also got motivated. Okay, let's do this. And my dad was also very excited. Okay, that could be one thing. And that is how eventually I ended up doing law, because I also appeared for English honors exams and other few entrance exams. But I ended up being a lawyer. And in the second or third year, because normally law is for 5 years, and during that time, in the second or third year, we were introduced to foreign languages. And then all the students, we have to make a choice which language we want to pursue further. So see, Paris was always a dream. It's a cliche thing, but I always wanted to visit the Eiffel Tower by hook or by crook. Sometimes I believed, okay, if nothing happens, I'll plan my honeymoon and go there. That was my last resort, but I had no idea what was the plan of the Almighty. So in the third year, I ended up choosing law, and I scored very bad in my college exams because I had no proper trainer or teaching or any kind of lessons of French. I was just going by the book. So I scored around 60%. I would say it's not that bad, but considering what I'm doing at the moment, I think that was quite bad. So after that, I was in the third year, and I told this to myself by the end of my graduation. If I feel that I'm more inclined towards law, I'll drop the language and take it as an asset. Okay, I learned this much, or itna mujhe aata hai, that is a plus point. And then I'll continue with my internships and court internships and all that. I did a few, but when once I completed my graduation, I felt that I was still inclined towards French, even more than law now by the end of fifth year. And I remember on the last day of law exams, I also had a DELF A1 exam on the same day.
Oh.
And DELF A1 exams have two parts. Actually, it has four parts, but you have to be there in two different time of the day. Like you have to be there till 10, maybe it depends what slot do you get. And after that, I had to be there at 1 p.m. So I had a window of 3 hours. And in those 3 hours, I went all the way because my college was quite far from my place, around 30 kilometers. I went all the way from Alliance Française de Delhi, where I was learning French and giving my DELF exams. I went to the college and got done with my viva and everything in 3 hours. I was like, मेरे पास एक strict window थी कि मुझे इसी में खत्म करना है. Otherwise, that time duration जिसमें मुझे पहुंचना है वापस Alliance, that'll be gone. So I finished my viva over there, law ka viva, and then I came back to Alliance Française and gave my second part of the DELF A1 exam. And that is how, and in around a week, I got the result, DELF A1 exam, and that said it all. Okay, I need to change my career. So that is when this shift happened actually.
Yeah, that's so amazing. I think मुझे लगता है कि I think your intuition also played a very vital role there.
Yes, it did. It got stronger every day and with every year. And the day I got my DELF result, I was like, this is it. I need to, maybe law was my way of getting to French. And when I started law, I was like, this is what I want to do. But when I was introduced to the language, I was like, this is something more, that this could be my calling. And I felt more strongly towards French than I did with law. So I don't see law as a bad thing, but it was the way that French came into my life.
Wow, great. And
That is
thanks a lot for sharing that, also in details. And how many levels are there? Like my brother also learned it, but, like in German, we have, like from A1 until C2. So how the levels are structured in French?
It's the same. It's from a DELF A1 to DALF, that is C2. But normally in India, what I have seen, people complete till C1 because there are not a lot of institutions or even Alliance Française branches where they have DALF C2 batches. So DALF C1 tak everybody just winds up and then they start getting job opportunities and all that. And there are a few Alliance Française where DALF C2 is available. You can start your C2 from there. But there are 6 levels: A1, A2, B1, B2, that is the intermediate, and then C1, the German.
Okay. Yeah, it's like the same, like I think in European languages, they follow the same structure.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, great. And while you were learning, what were the challenges you faced there? Because मेरे से बड़े सारे लोग भी पूछते हैं और मेरा भी यही क्वेश्चन था सबसे पहले जब मैं खुद like just learning a language कि मेरे को इंग्लिश चाहिए या नहीं चाहिए, अगर मेरे को इंग्लिश नहीं आती तो क्या इम्पैक्ट पड़ेगा उसका, क्या मैं लर्न कर पाऊंगा फ्रेंच या फिर क्या मैं लर्न कर पाऊंगा कोई भी फ्रेंच लैंग्वेज, कोई भी फॉरेन लैंग्वेज, और उसके अलावा कि कल्चरली लाइक आपका जो कल्चर होता है वो बहुत बहुत अलग होता है। जैसे मेरा था कि पंक्चुअलिटी, वहां पे 8 बजे का मतलब 8 बजे, राइट, 7:55 पे यू हैव टू बी देयर। सो दीज वर द चैलेंजेस यू आल्सो फेस्ड, और what was your point of view to see, like look at them?
Okay, so first of all, in order to learn any foreign language, you don't need to have English. If you know English already, that is a plus point. You can switch, because whenever you are learning any foreign language, your brain will start this way. Agar aapko Hindi aati hai, then you will switch from Hindi to French or maybe German. But if you know English as well, there will be a second option. So it will be Hindi to English, English to any foreign language. So it has no relation. You can simply learn any foreign language. You don't need any intermediate language.
Mm-hmm.
So English actually, it will help you because it's an official language and people know this language throughout. So that is the only thing I would tell. And apart from that, you don't need any particular language. You can just, all you need is a will
Mm-hmm.
and consistency and some discipline. I guess वो सब चीजें you need to have in order to learn anything, be it language or be it any other skill.
Mm-hmm. Right, right, right. Great. And how about the culture?
Okay. So once you start learning any foreign language, or for that matter, any regional language also, चाहे वो India की क्यों ना हो, you get a glimpse of the culture of that place. Let's say if I start learning Marathi today, I'll get a glimpse of how Marathi people think, or what are their famous festivals, or what are the festivals that they are most excited about throughout the year. Similarly, if you're learning any foreign language, through the books or maybe through some videos or articles, you will get a glimpse of that particular culture. And that I got initially from my French books, जो कि Alliance Française में मिलती थी. And then after that, when I managed to take French classes and manage that wholesome amount that I needed to go to Europe, doing a backpack trip. So I went there, and that is when the real practical French world was there in front of me. So I would say it felt like, see, I started my journey from Italy. So वहाँ पे I felt okay, मैं कहाँ आ गई हूँ, मुझे ABCD भी नहीं आती Italian language की. वहाँ पे I felt really lost. But I still managed my way. But after that, France was the second country I wanted to visit. Actually, it was the first, but I got the visa through that way. So France was the second country. So once I got there, it felt like home. It felt like practical knowledge of learning French. So जो चीजें books में पढ़ी थी, it helped me somewhere, but practical French was totally different. It was so much fun. And even today, when I'm training my students, I give them both the aspects. We don't particularly follow the book structure, because I have seen both the structures. So that is, I think, is one advantage that I can pass on to the students. And that is one thing, because once you are going there, like in that particular country, जहाँ की भाषा आपने सीखी है, so like you are taking a bus, you will see, okay, how you board the bus and then how you greet the driver. Maybe you get to learn all these in the books also, but the natural scenarios, and then you have nothing prepared in your head and you learn just with the flow and by the people around you. That is amazing. So it was not a shock, it felt like home.
Wow, wow. I think
I'm sure you can also relate to this, Raman.
you feel like a king or queen, like you can speak that language and you can understand everything,
Yes,
I can feel it. I totally get it. And I think you went for the first time to France just for traveling.
yes, only for travel, and that was out of curiosity.
Okay. And I think you also went the second time. Tell us about, like that trip. I think you taught English there. And how was that?
Yeah, okay. So first time was through tuitions and savings and then normal travel visa. Second time in 2019. So this solo trip happened in 2017, and this trip, which in which I was selected as a language assistant, it's basically a program. Once you have completed your third level of French, which is the DELF B1, then you are eligible for it. Of course, there are a few other eligibility criteria that you need to follow. Like you have to have IELTS also 7.5 band or plus, and a few little other things. And you need to have your documents intact, and then you are good. You are just eligible for this program. So once all these things are done, you are selected as a language assistant, and then you are assigned a particular city and then a particular academy. And then you finally get the region where you are supposed to teach. You can get two establishments, like two places, maybe a high school, because हमारे इंडिया में हाई स्कूल का कोई कॉन्सेप्ट नहीं होता, but in France there is a concept like they call lycée. So lycée is equivalent to 11th or 12th class in English in India. So I was assigned to a lycée. So I was technically teaching English to French natives who were around 15 to 18 years of age. And below that, around 10 to 12 years of age, that is called primary, and above that is secondary. So lycée falls in the secondary category. Okay. So then one by one, all these things happen. You are assigned to the primary or secondary, and then you are assigned to that particular place. Then they send you an offer letter, and then all the visa preparations and everything happens. And then once you reach there, you are assigned a particular group of students. And you won't believe how excited they get to see, oh, an Indian is going to teach us. So the joy on their faces, and in the first class they don't really get कि अच्छा अब ये क्या पढ़ाने वाले हैं, like okay, they are going to teach us English, but they are very afraid of speaking English, like we all are. Starting में everybody is hesitant कि अच्छा we are going to screw this up or maybe mess this up, maybe grammatical errors हो जाएंगे. So everybody is scared in the beginning. So even they are for English. So once you break the ice, then they are like, they just look forward to have the language assistant class, which is very amazing. And then they start to discover all the similarities, because for me, I was representing India, because उनके लिए मैं ही पूरा इंडिया थी कि अच्छा इंडिया ऐसा होता है, और मेरे लिए वो ही बच्चे पूरा फ्रांस थे. Also I was getting a few glimpses, जैसे बस लेना और फिर ग्रोसरी स्टोर जाना, मुझे फ्रांस की glimpse हर जगह दिख रही थी. And there are all kinds of people, so we cannot generalize, but for them I was the one, the whole of India, मतलब यहाँ से north है, मेरे पैरों तक south है. So they started to discover all the similarities and how everybody is just just one human being, and there is only one creator. जो हमने from the Sikh community हमने बहुत सीखा होता है, since you are also from the same community. And even I am a Punjabi. My dad was from Punjab, my dadaji and all that. So I have also grown up listening to all the Baba ji ki story, Guru Nanak Dev ji ki. So I have all those lessons embedded in me very अच्छे से. My dad made sure कि मुझे वो चीजें पता है. So I even, you won't believe, I even taught these lessons or these stories that my dad taught me throughout to the French people in their language. Wow. And mixing with English. So I used to make fun ways, because I used to put myself in their position, that what would they be curious about. So I used to just take their interest and mix that with my knowledge, and then come up with something, or maybe in some way that they will be interested and engaged in. So that was an amazing experience. And if somebody is learning any language, I'm sure every language has some kind of cultural exchange program. So keep an eye out for that. Or agar nahi pata, so just try and educate yourself, because for French, this is one amazing program that can give you a whole dive into the French culture. Right. Thanks a lot. I'm sure there must be a few for German also. There are many from like German academic exchange services. They also offer a lot of like opportunities to come to Germany and visit it. Even at the university where I am studying, they also offer summer courses for 20 days, 21 days or so, 3 weeks, 4 weeks courses where. Yeah, so they also offer that. But maybe it's a good point. Maybe we can also share the link for this language assistant program. Yes, absolutely. I'll send it to you. Maybe you can add that in the description box. Yeah, great. I will also do that. And अच्छा, जब आप मतलब you were in France, did you also face some challenges while learning back in India and then speaking to French people? Because like they have different dialects as well. So क्योंकि कोई बड़े सारे, हमें ऐसा लगता है कि वहां पर जो बच्चे हैं ना वो गांव से नहीं आते, हालांकि ऐसा कुछ ट्रू नहीं है. बहुत सारे बच्चे गांव से भी आते हैं, राइट. मतलब उनका, क्योंकि यहाँ पे विलेज लगता नहीं है, क्योंकि हमारी सर्टेन इमेज बनी हुई है ना कि इमेज विलेज की एक इमेज है कि अच्छा वहां पर इंटरनेट नहीं होगा, वहां पे बिजली नहीं होगी, वहां पे कुछ नहीं होगा. लेकिन यहाँ पे जो है, यहाँ पे विलेजेस बिल्कुल अलग है. यहाँ पे विलेजेस भी एक अपने आप में सिटी है, राइट. तो वहां पे वो डिफरेंस नहीं है. बट मेरे को यहाँ पे मतलब ये क्यूरियोसिटी जानने की कि डायलेक्ट वहां पे डिफरेंट है, what you learned in India and what you were speaking there? There is a little little bit of difference in the accents. Like जो French हमें पढ़ाई जाती है, that is mainly France वाली French. But there are different kinds of French also. उसमें थोड़ा थोड़ा accent आ जाता है. Like if somebody knows Hindi, एक North Indian हिंदी कैसे बोलेगा, that will have a different accent.
Right.
And अगर थोड़ा सा नीचे साउथ की तरफ जाते हैं हम इंडिया में ही, maybe a Mumbaiker will not speak Hindi the same way as any North Indian does. So
Right.
it's the same way. Like in Quebec, which is in Canada, वहाँ पे people speak French. Quebec basically it's a francophone country. तो वहाँ पे people speak French with a different accent. तो हमें Alliance process में दोनों accents थोड़े से introduce कराए जाते हैं. But mainly we stick to the France वाला accent.
Okay.
But once you are out there, you understand. मतलब एक दो दिन लगते हैं, फिर उसके बाद समझ आ जाता है कि अच्छा ठीक है, this is what they mean and this is the accent. तो वो एक दो दिन लगता है. You set your tunes accordingly.
Right. And did you okay, so it's matlab I just process it how you see, like, because in Germany, if I compare, like I also compare sometimes with Germany as well, because in Germany, if you go to South Germany, they totally they speak total different dialect, and even the people who live in Hamburg in North Germany cannot understand that their dialect, even in Germany itself.
This happens even in France itself as a country. The people who live in the north of France, they have a different dialect, a different accent. And when you come to the south, and वहाँ के people, they can figure out कि अच्छा ये south of France है, ये west of France है. हमें नहीं पता चलता because we are an outsider. हमें धीरे-धीरे समझ आता.
Right.
But this is very interesting because you get to know different, a lot of accent and dialects.
Yeah, right. Like it's so amazing, like to see in a country that there are other countries as well, like कस्बे जिसे हम कहते हैं ना, राइट, सिटीज जो होती है या फिर जो स्टेट्स होते हैं वो अलग अलग है, वहां पे अलग तरीके से बोला जाता है. तो इट्स सो इंटरेस्टिंग, like to live that. I personally say, like I think you have got the opportunity to live that, and I think from your aura I can see, like you are living that right now as well, like French enthusiast.
I'm partially mentally there, but I try and bring myself to present every now and then. But because it has been such a huge part of because you have lived there. Once you live in a certain country or city for a long time, you actually have that in your soul, and it just doesn't go away. And to this also I'll add, because once you come back from the program, ultimately, see, for me, ultimately India is my home, Delhi is my home. I need to come back to my family. So once you come back, people feel a mental shift. Sometimes there are two kinds of people then. Some people are still mentally there in France, just fighting every day to make up for all the present sceneries they get to see in India, which will not match in their mental head, in their mental status, rather, in the head. So then those people feel very difficult to come back to present, which is India, if you are planning to come back to India. And there are some people who are just happy to come back to their family and get a whole bunch of new experiences which they will cherish for life. And maybe with those experiences they can share that, because we all have the luxury of internet these days. We all can share that and maybe help a few new dreamers, new aspirants. So that is what I try to do. I train people for French, and then train also for this program, so that they can also go there and live what I have lived, maybe even better. Maybe जो मैं नहीं कर पाई थी वो बहुत अच्छा से कर लें, because every person and every personality is different.
Right. It's so wow. You're doing a great job, I would say. Yeah. Wow. You are not just teaching French, like you are helping them to dream about it, like just think about it. And like always, जो भी है खाना पीना सब कुछ जो है ना वो सब कुछ फ्रेंच में होना चाहिए. I can imagine that. And
that is also my tagline. Like after every video I add this thing: dream, hustle and explore, because ये सब होता है तो dream पूरी हो जाती है.
Right.
But you need to have balance also.
Great. And what can we learn from French people? Like there are other things as well. Sometimes, like you also said, कि मैंने उनको गुरु नानक देव जी के बारे में बताया, or like we are all one, but I think there is always a room to learn something from them as well. Like what have you learned there, or what can we learn like I haven't explored French culture, but I'm
Mhm.
sure that I can learn, like some things from them as well. So coming back to India, you can, because you see also, I think, in a different way, your country as well, your life as well.
Exactly,
So
exactly.
what was your, like what are your thoughts on that?
See, I went to France 2 times.
Hmm.
So the first time I came back, I had a very hard time to, be back in India mentally.
Hmm.
I was there for around 2-3 months, and that is what really taught me that once I go there again and come back to India, I don't want to face all these things like very low times. I don't want to do that.
Hmm.
Maybe that is what helped me this time to be, on the mark. I was just ready. I took a few days, maybe around a week or so, and then I was like very happy being where I am.
Hmm.
So वहां से मैंने क्या सीखा है? First thing is it's not only French people, because I also got to travel and I actually learned a lot of things from different people from all walks of life.
Hmm.
कोई स्पेन से था, कोई ग्रीस से था. So I learned everything थोड़ा थोड़ा सबसे. सबसे
Hmm.
पहले चीज मुझे ये समझ आई कि फ्रेंच लैंग्वेज बहुत कॉमन है. आफ्टर इंग्लिश फ्रेंच इज द सेकंड मोस्ट स्पोकन लैंग्वेज. बट जो चीज मुझे नहीं पता थी, दैट इवन इन फ्रांस देयर आर सो मेनी पीपल who learn so many different languages. French ke alawa, they know Spanish
Hmm.
like very easily. They can talk in 2-3 languages. But in India, we only have our regional languages and maybe English. इसके अलावा हम उसका अपने horizons को expand नहीं करते because we think this is more than enough. That is what we need.
Hmm.
So not putting a barrier or a borderline कि मुझे इसके beyond जरूरत नहीं है जाने की. That is what I learned from them. And after that, after coming back, every day I try to learn something or the other, and Spanish is on my agenda these days. I try to learn Spanish on my own as far as I can, जितना मैं खुद से सीख सकती हूँ. Then I'll get myself a professional trainer. So this is one thing, don't put yourself in a box. You don't need to.
Hmm.
I know we all are in the lockdown and everything. Even in your routinely life, even in your small space that you call home, you can learn so much, especially when you have the luxury of internet. So don't put yourself in a box is number one thing. Number two, that you there is, French people used to have sugars, a lot of sugars. I think this is common thing with all the Europeans. They start their day with meetha, that is like proper chini and biscuits and all that. हमारा दिन स्टार्ट होता है पराठों के साथ, आलू के पराठे और दही. दैट इज आवर ब्रेकफास्ट. सो दैट इज अ शिफ्ट. एंड वहां पे जाके ये चीज नहीं करनी थी. ये मैंने वहां पे अपने आप को इंडियन बैकग्राउंड से सिखाया कि नहीं, एक लिमिट तक शुगर खानी है. तो वहां से आके this was the major thing that I learned, and I could see one thing was that age was no bar. इंडिया में वी हैव सेट लिमिट्स कि अच्छा ठीक है 25 तक शादी, 30 तक सेटल, मतलब financially and career wise, and then maybe 30 तक everybody starts pressurizing for kids.
Hmm.
बट वहां पे कोई ऐसा प्रेशर है ही नहीं. यू फील सो फ्री बिकॉज ऑफ दीज थिंग्स, बिकॉज वहां पे किसी ने भी किसी पे कोई प्रेशर नहीं डाला हुआ.
Right.
And what I think is, I'll give you one example. So in Greece, I was trying couch surfing for the first time. Actually, for the second time, because usi trip ke dauran in Greece, I was staying at a person's place. That was my second couch surfing experience, which was amazing, by the way. He was a sailor. He used to sail on boats, on ships, and that was his job. And how he loved it. He had this, कहते हैं ना एक फेस पे तेज दिखता है जो हम बुक्स में पढ़ते थे. He had that तेज on his face.
Hmm.
And you spot these people just like that. And he was above 45, I suppose. And उसकी कोई लिमिट नहीं थी. और उसके बाद भी he wanted to learn a few things. वो मेरे से हिंदी सीखना चाह रहा था क्योंकि उसने अपने आप को बॉक्स में नहीं डाला हुआ. सो
Right.
डोंट, एज वाला फैक्टर हमने बहुत ज्यादा एम्बेडेड कर रखा है इंडियन सोसाइटी में और इंडियन अपने बच्चों में.
Hmm.
So that needs to, you know, take a step down, I think.
Right.
So that is what I try to, use that formula in my life, and I hope to pass this on to my future generations, because I have a nephew now and I feel so responsible for him that is बच्चे को इस environment में ही बड़ा करना है. Although I am his Masi, I don't have much control in his environment because parents का सबसे पहला role आता है in regulating a child's environment. So that is what I learned from French people and people throughout my travels.
Wow, because like
I
I've
speak
also,
a lot. I'm so sorry.
yeah, no issues, but like I've also observed that like there is no age bar at all, because like I also tell my like my viewers as well कि मैं जोन सा कोर्स कर रहा हूँ मास्टर्स इंटरनेशनल मैनेजमेंट, there is a one lady who is above 50 and she's with
Okay.
me, and she's like feeling so free, like I am learning something new, and this
Yeah.
curiosity like makes you more alive. I personally think कि आपको
Yes.
जितना, राइट, सो आप जितना ज्यादा आप सीखते जाते हो ना, मतलब कि आपको कुछ नया सीखने की इच्छा होती है, तो आप और ज्यादा यंग होते जाते हो. मैंने यहाँ पे बड़े लोग देखे, मतलब दे आर 70 and they're telling like now I'm going to learn swimming, I am going to learn scuba diving, I am going like just for ski. Okay, great, like at 70 you're thinking about it, and it's so amazing because मेरे को भी ऐसे लगता है यहाँ पर आने के बाद एज का कोई फैक्टर ही नहीं है. क्योंकि
Exactly.
जब हम यहाँ पे इंडिया से यहाँ पे आते हैं तो हमें लगता है कि अच्छा नाउ like let's suppose I am 24, I am 28 और I am 34, so 34 का मतलब है कि बच्चे, 28 का मतलब है कि डिग्री कंप्लीट एंड फाइनेंशियली मेरे को स्टेबल होना है, राइट, ये
Stable.
चीजें
Exactly.
होती है, राइट, या. सो let's like go to the next point is कि what would you suggest to the new learners कि उनको
French.
French language, yeah, French learners, or like they are looking for other opportunities as well, so what would you suggest them, like where to start? Let's suppose, I think you did it your course at Allianz,
Yes, I did.
right? I think there are also other courses like in Delhi University as well, like आप वहाँ पे जाके
Yes.
डिग्री कोर्स भी कर सकते हो, या फिर आप Allianz में कर सकते हो, या फिर you also teach them, like what would you suggest them, what should they choose, or how should they choose?
Okay, so to start with, ये चीज मुझे actually पढ़ाने के बाद ज्यादा समझ आई, because if I had this kind of knowledge कि मुझे कोई pass on करके ये बता सकता, या maybe मुझे कोई guide करता, तो maybe I would have chosen a different path and got to the same point जिस पे मैं आज हूँ. So Alliance process is not the only way to learn French. There are plenty others. Like from Delhi University, you can get a diploma on the side. मतलब graduation करते करते, see language का plus point is this कि इसको कुछ ज़्यादा fancy time hours नहीं चाहिए. You can learn this before sleeping, randomly just flipping through the pages of any book, any foreign language book. You don't need to have a set timetable कि अच्छा 2 से 4 मुझे पढ़ना है, जैसे graduation में होता है, online classes सबके एकदम set है. Language you can learn on the side, and there are routine and schedules made in this way that you can learn weekdays maybe when you have the time, or during weekends when you have the time. 2 hours, 4 hours, that depends. You can choose. There are plenty of options. So Delhi University say you can do diploma, or you can start if you are only starting. I'm talking about the starting, the initial phase. Alliance process is always there. And one thing is that Alliance Mena, you have a whole environment of French learning. You have a cafeteria, like French is coming in. You have a cafeteria which has the French breads and all that. And then you have a library. Library is like the weakness. मेरी तो weakness है, मतलब मुझे कहीं पे भी library दिखती है, I just rush. So वो सब environment ना, you get that under one roof. So that is a plus point. But if you are learning from any college, maybe Delhi University का college, or even JNU for that matter, JNU में भी अच्छे courses offer होते हैं. I've had friends also and students also who come from these different places. And up to I've heard कि Delhi University के different colleges में they are teaching French like a subject properly, जो कि पहले नहीं होता था when I was graduated. मैंने इतना नहीं सुना था कितना होता है. Maybe they used to have a few batches of French language, but not in every college. But now अब मेरे को बहुत frequently ये सुनने को मिलता है. So all you need to do is get yourself maybe a professional trainer, maybe any university, कोई भी college, वहाँ से diploma, or you can go to Alliance. That should be your first step. And apart from these, just keep this in mind, these are only your guiding steps. Your efforts will matter the most. At the end of the day, it's your efforts, and your efforts can add up to learning that language at a faster pace. And you will also learn a lot. And YouTube pay, you have so many videos, so many cartoons in foreign language, in French, and I'm sure German में भी बहुत सारे different sources. You must have that in mind कि अच्छा German ऐसे ऐसे भी पढ़ सकते हैं, because you are on the other side now. You know, okay, these are also the sources that I could have used, but I had no knowledge back then, so I learned जो कि उस टाइम पे मुझे बेस्ट पता था कि ऐसे पढ़ी जा सकती है. So मेरे लिए भी ऐसा उस टाइम पे I knew Alliance is the way to learn French, but now there are plenty. So even if I am training any student, I always ask them कि अच्छा ठीक है, keep on reading articles somewhere, French articles, maybe French newspaper, and watch YouTube videos. Don't limit yourself to books. Don't limit yourself to my assignments. Although I share resources with them, because many people don't like to share resources, because that means their business will be in danger, in dilemma.
Right.
But I feel like if you share the knowledge, they will also pass on that knowledge to someone. Na? This will have a ripple effect. And
True.
knowledge is it only grows when shared.
Right.
So that is what I believe in. So that could be your first step. And then dhire dhire, one thing will lead to another, and you will just, find yourself speaking that foreign language very frequently and very, I'm not able to get the English word. Kuramo ko kaise bolte hain English mein? Very like out there. I'm sorry, वो language block आ जाता है sometimes. So you can speak that language very easily and comfortably and smoothly. So you need to have your efforts and willpower कि अच्छा मुझे पढ़ना है तो मुझे पढ़ना है.
Right. Yeah, like it's not like a spoon feeding कि आपको वो सिर्फ एक बार बता देंगे कि like it's a structure, but you need to practice it. And like practice makes a man perfect, like we see, like we hear every day. And what are the costs about, like in Alliance or at Delhi University, or like if you're, let's suppose, learning from you as well, like as a trainer as well. So there are, like maybe you can just give an approx, like the costs.
See, Alliance process से अगर start करें, I think because it's been quite a long time कि उनका क्या fee structure चल रहा है, because every year they used to revise their fee rates. So I remember जो last time मैंने देखा था, there are two kinds of batches that they make for French language. One is intensive, another one is extensive. So if somebody wants to take it slow, आराम से पढ़ना चाहते हैं, don't want to rush, तो वो एक level को, which is DELF A1, the first part of French language, they will break that in 3 parts. और अगर उसको थोड़ा faster करना चाहते हो, they will break that in 2 parts. So this is how they make batches, and accordingly, उसी के accordingly you have rates. So I can tell you the range. It starts from somewhere between 20,000 to, it can go up to 28,000, including the books and everything. So it depends, because you may be taking the weekdays or weekends, and maybe extensive or intensive, so that will matter. So this is the range. And for me personally, मेरे लिए इन चीजों से ज्यादा मैटर करता है कि अच्छा, I always make a point that I have a teammate who handles all these things once we get the Google form, because I have made that. And once we get the request from that Google form, there is my teammate जो कि background check करता है, call करता है, and वो सब मैंने थोड़ा सा हटा दिया. I like to make calls on my own now, because that way I can hear the student's voice, और उसमें कितना enthusiasm है और वो कितना willing है पढ़ने के लिए. And it obviously depends from level to level. Like अगर DELF A1 है for beginners, एक separate level है, फिर B1 का different है, and also their target also varies. कि अगर उनको assistant, जिस language assistant program के लिए जाना है जिसमें मैं गई थी, so there is a different training. I used to I always add some or the other things ताकि उनको उससे भी help मिले, and I also try कि मैं उनको apply करने में भी help कर दूं जितनी मैं कर सकती हूँ. And then it's their effort. Ultimately it's their efforts. We can only guide them and show them the path जो कि हमें नहीं दिखा था.
बिल्कुल, because I think you are sharing from your experience and what were your like learnings, or what could you have done differently.
Exactly.
Yeah, great. And I think that's it. I think like we have talked and I hope like कि हमने एक ऐसा पूरा glimpse दे दिया है French language का, और उसके बाद I think you also shared, I really appreciate that, like you also shared your experience from France, like being in France as well, because वहां से लोगों को थोड़ी और इंस्पिरेशन मोटिवेशन मिलती है कि अच्छा यार, अच्छा मैं भी जा सकता हूँ, मैं भी कर सकता हूँ, राइट?
Of
एंड
course, anybody can. इसमें कोई barrier नहीं है. And one thing जो हमने throughout this video भी बोली है, don't put yourself in a box. You can learn anything at any age.
Wow. Yeah, I think it's a great closing line, Don't put yourself in the box, think outside the box. Great. And Bhavna, I really appreciate you coming here and sharing your experience, and like sharing everything so honestly, and telling, like I think I can really feel that your zeal is, like to help, to empower, like other students as well. You're like, I really appreciate that. Thanks a lot for that.
Thank you so much.
And last question, where can people find you?
I'm everywhere. Instagram, YouTube, email. So I'll share all the details with you. Maybe you can put that in the description as well. But YouTube पे भी easily you just type my full name Bhavna Kwatra. I'm easily available. सबसे ऊपर वाला link ही मेरे channel का है. And apart from that, Instagram पे भी I'm active. So I'm easily मिल जाऊंगी मैं आराम से. You don't need to worry on that.
Right, great. So thanks a lot again, just coming here and
Thank you
sharing
for
your
that.
experience. I hope, like maybe we could meet someday, maybe in Europe or in India for sure, because I'm also, like
Sure.
from Delhi.
I would love that.
Yeah. So I think with that, I would say that we close this. And I really thank you again for that, just coming here and sharing your
Thank
experience.
you so much.